Wow. Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to Meet Your Future. I'm Bronwyn and I'm part of the Bridge GM team here at Greater Manchester Combined Authority. So we launched Meet Your Future in April 2019 to enable more people, young people just like you, to meet with and have meaningful conversations with employers whilst experiencing different workplaces. Over the past 12 months, we've been speaking to young people right across from Greater Manchester about how you've been feeling, what support you need, and what opportunities you'd like here in Greater Manchester. And we've been listening to you and have learned a lot. And we've developed a suite of information to help you and to help you find out about different opportunities, offer advice, support and guidance. And this is all held on the GMAX, the Greater Manchester Apprenticeship and Career Service, which some of you will be using already. And please speak to your teachers to find out more about GMAX and the different opportunities on there. We've also adapted the Meet Your Future campaign to fit what young people have been telling us. And throughout this academic year, you've been able to and will continue to be able to join lots of different sessions and chat with employers from across Greater Manchester to really discover the different roles, pathways and different industries that are really exciting and here in Greater Manchester. And today you'll hear from Felicity Brown from the Growth Company, who will be delivering the Investing in You session. And hopefully throughout today's session, you'll find out a lot of information and be inspired and really help you to understand why you should be hopeful and optimistic about your future here in Greater Manchester. There is a question and answer box throughout the session, so please make use of that and add in any of your questions and we will come to these at the end. And if you would like to use captions or subtitles throughout the session, please select the caption subtitles on in your video controls as well. So I will now pass over to Felicity, who will take you through the remainder of the session.
Thank you, Bronwyn. I'm just going to share my screen, everybody, bear with me. Okay. It's not giving me the option, Bronwyn.
Okay. So I'll go back to sharing mine.
Are you sure? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bear with us a moment, everyone.
It's okay, don't worry. I'll just do my introduction while we wait for Bronwyn to share screen. That's perfect. Yeah, we're there.
We're good now. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay, don't worry. Good morning, everybody. My name is Felicity Brown. My role is a Health and Wellbeing Specialist, and I work for a company called The Growth Company, who are based in central Manchester. I work on a programme for that business called the Skills for Growth SME, and we are helping businesses in Greater Manchester to improve the skills of their staff, upskill staff and help them with their development as well. So as my role as a health and wellbeing specialist, I am working with business leaders and business owners on how to make their workplaces better places to work for staff, how to increase their support measures that they have in place for staff, and also just to make sure they're supported in the workplace and that they've got everything that they need. So I will work with business leaders, and I will just guide them and support them on implementing those measures and helping them to support their staff to the best they can. So thank you for joining me this morning. My session is going to be on investing in yourself. As part of Mental Health Awareness Week, I think it's really key that we are all investing in ourselves and investing in our own well-being. So I'm just going to go through that with you this morning. If I can ask, I don't know if you've all got pen and paper handy, I will ask you to be writing some things down, and we're going to take some time for self-reflection this morning. So if you do have a pen and paper handy, if you don't worry too much, you might be able to memorise it, but it will be helpful. So this morning we're going to go through the benefits of investing in ourselves. I'm going to talk to you about the 5 ways to well-being. We're going to look at the 4 B's, and I'll go through those with you later on what they are. We're going to look at our personal strengths, and we're also going to look at some self-care top tips, so things that we can be doing for ourselves and our own well-being. Could have the next slide, thanks, Bronwyn. So just to put it over to you guys this morning then, I just want you to start having a think about what you're currently doing to take care of yourself, so what you're currently doing to take care of your own well-being. So this might be what you go to when you're not feeling your best, or perhaps when you're feeling a little low, or perhaps when you haven't had the best day. What do you turn to take care of yourself? Or not even necessarily when you're not feeling so great. It might be something that you do every day to make to make sure that you're feeling your best, or just to take care of your own wellness. So just want you to start thinking about that. What do you currently do to take care of your own well-being? And if perhaps nothing springs to mind, then perhaps start having a think throughout this session on what it is that you could be doing to look after your own wellness. Okay, so just looking at investing in ourselves then, so what does that look like? So when I say investing in yourselves, I'm saying investing in ourselves and our own well-being is really one of the best investments that we will make. And it's all about self-care really, and the fact that self-care isn't selfish. It's actually a really responsible approach to take for ourselves and our own lives as well. So this is sort of what results could you expect to see if you start investing in yourself, or if you start looking after your own health and well-being. So what that might look like is satisfaction and fulfillment within ourselves. We know that investing in ourselves keeps us motivated, it boosts our confidence, and of course with self-care comes self-love. It also means continuous self-development, so keep working on ourselves to better ourselves as well. And also it allows us to be the best version of ourselves. So really this morning, if you look at each of those things, if you might find that you're lacking in any of those areas, or perhaps you're just not feeling very motivated right now, perhaps now would be the time to especially start investing in your own well-being. So now we're just going to look at the ways to well-being. Okay, so when I talk about well-being within my role at work and even in my own personal life as well, there are 5 different ways to well-being. Okay, and we should be adopting a holistic approach to our own well-being. And when I say holistic, that is the belief that being whole just isn't about one thing. Okay, it's all of the parts of something that are connected. So that's just like ourselves, our own wellness. So our own wellness isn't just our mental health, it's not just our physical health, it's all of the elements that I'm going to go through with you now, and they all interconnect into one another. So we know that if we exercise and we are active, that's going to have a positive impact on our mental health. We know that if we have great sleep, we become less stressed, and that's going to positively impact our mental health. All elements of our well-being positively impact one another. So it's really important that when we think about our own wellness, that we are making positive contributions to each single area. So not just our mental health, not just our physical health, but all of these different elements. So just starting with mental well-being. So we know that's if we have positive mental health, if we're feeling good mentally, and our stress levels are low. And then if we move into physical well-being, so we know that is our nutrition, so everything that we eat, everything that we drink, our exercise, how much we are moving, our sleep, and also our relaxation as well. They all contribute to our physical well-being. Then if we move over to the pink area of environmental well-being, that is our home, that is our school space. They are the spaces that we spend the most time in. And that's all about as well our connection with others, the relationships we hold with one another, and also giving back falls as part to that as well. So perhaps giving back to charity or even giving back to one another. And then moving into spiritual. So that's our own personal meaning, and that's our own purpose as well, which we're going to look into shortly. So those are all the 5 ways to well-being. Okay, so next we're going to look into the 4 B's. So the first B is to be yourself. Okay, so when we are our true selves, it does bring lots of positivity and it brings lots of satisfaction into our lives as well. Could you just do some clicks, Bronwyn, for me? Thank you. So we know that it increases self-awareness and it builds our confidence. We know that it influences our outcomes in life as well. It also improves our quality of life too. It allows us to gain self-respect, and it also helps with our decision making as well. So it's really key that we're encouraged to be ourselves and we feel positive and confident enough to be ourselves as well. So I think really being ourselves is also knowing and recognizing what our own strengths are, especially our character strengths. Okay, and character strengths are strengths that are our personalities that are built upon, that are personal to us, and they sort of make us who we are. So if we focus on all the positive aspects of our character, rather than the things that we can't do, more the things that we can do, it improves our well-being, it builds our confidence, and it reminds us where our real strengths lie as well. And also when we take time to consider what our own strengths are and why they're important, we're better prepared to meet life's challenges as well. So we're just going to look at our own character strengths in more detail. So there are a list of character strengths there on the screen. If you could just go back for me, Bronwyn, sorry. There are a list of character strengths there on the screen. So I just want you to have a think about and just take a couple of minutes for some self-reflection. So if you've got a pen and paper, I'd like you to write down, or if you haven't, just think about what your top 3 character strengths are from the list shown. Okay, so which strengths do you see on the screen that you might be thinking, yeah, that's me, or yeah, I am that. And it's really important to remember that there's no right or wrong answers with this. You know, everyone is different. We're all built differently. So what might be a personal strength for me might not be a personal strength for you, and so on. So yours will almost definitely be different from the person sitting next to you, and that's completely okay. Okay, so these are our own personal character strengths. So you can also put something down that might not be on the list, that might be popping into your head. But do avoid putting things like football or baking or anything like that. So they might be good things that you're really, really good at, but they are our talents, okay, not character strengths. And even though you might think of those strengths on the board, a lot of those on the screen might be applying to you. For this activity, you just want to choose the 3 strengths that most apply to you. So I'm just going to give you a minute just to do that and just to have a think about that. Okay, thank you. So now we've taken some time to self-reflect and understand in more detail what our character strengths are. I just want you to now consider these questions to help us think about those strengths in more detail. So I'd just like you to read through these now. So are there any situations that you find yourself in where you feel as though you're not using your strengths as much as you could be? And is there anything that you can do to change this? Or even think about a challenging situation that might be happening or has happened in your life. How can your strengths that you've just chosen and you've identified guide you through that situation and be used as your inner strength? Or even perhaps are there times when you don't notice and appreciate your own strengths and also the strength of others around you? And what could you positively do to change this? So I'd just like you to read each of those questions and just take a minute or two and just some self-reflect on the strengths that you've written down and how you might or might not be using them to be that best version of you can be, to be your true self. Okay, going back to that being ourselves element. So it's really important that we notice and appreciate our strengths and the character strengths of other people around us as well, to really get to know one another and to be able to support one another as well. Okay, and after this session, it may be useful as well to even share your character strengths with one another as a class and discuss your thoughts on the above questions as well. You might not know that a friend in your class is brave or creative or any of the other elements. Therefore, it helps us to understand one another better, as well as that reminding ourselves of the positive qualities that we hold too. Okay, so just something there to take away with you and something to think about this morning. Can I have the next slide, Bronwyn, please? Okay, now the second B is be grateful. Okay, so it can be really easy, and I'm sure everybody agrees with me, that it can be really easy to feel that other people's lives are better than our own, or other people have more than we have. And that can leave us feeling quite rubbish, can't it, about our own lives and about our own selves as well, especially when we're seeing things on social media or on TV. It can be really easy to think that in that way, can't it? So that's why being grateful and practicing gratitude can be really powerful. Okay, now if you don't know what practicing gratitude is, I'm going to go through that with you shortly, but practicing gratitude is the single most powerful tool to increasing happiness and growing a positive mindset. Okay, the single most powerful tool into building happiness. So why wouldn't we do it? Okay, now there are lots of different ways that we can practice gratitude and lots of different ways that we can be grateful, but the whole idea is that we build it into a daily routine. Okay, that we build it into something that we do every single day. And the more you do it, the more that you'll see a difference in yourself as well, and your way of thinking and your own mental health too. So I've just wrote some ideas there of ways that you can practice gratitude or ways that you can build being grateful into your everyday life. So writing a gratitude journal. So that's just simply 5 things a day, writing down 5 things a day that you're grateful for. I do this every single morning, and it just helps me to start the day in a much more positive way than, getting out of bed and thinking, oh, I've got to go to work or I've got to go to school and the weather's not so great and all the things that we tend to moan about every single day. Just try this, starting your day in a much more positive way. So it could simply be, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the food in my fridge. All the things that we do take for granted every single day that a lot of people aren't lucky enough to have. There's just simply practicing being grateful for those. So 5 things, or if you can't think of 5, 3 things, however many you can think of, and try building that into a gratitude journal every day. Also giving thanks regularly. So obviously giving thanks to teachers, your parents, your friends, anything, just giving thanks more regularly. Starting a gratitude jar. So again, that could be exactly like a gratitude journal, writing things that you're grateful for, but popping them into a jar. And then perhaps on the days when you're not feeling so great, you can pull those gratitude prompts out and read them to yourself. And again, it can help you to think a lot more positively. Or even just noticing one good thing from each day. Now, how many times do we get home and we think that the day's been a really rubbish day because of perhaps even because of one small thing that's happened? So at the end of each day, try noticing one good thing that's happened from each day. And again, you'll allow you to finish the day on a much more positive note than perhaps going to sleep feeling down about the day. So yeah, just being grateful. And I'll go through ways that we can practice gratitude and be mindful a little bit later as well. Have the next slide, Bronwyn, please. So the third B is be kind. Okay, and kindness is a huge win-win for our well-being. Okay, now research has shown that when we are kind to others, we don't only make other people feel better and boost their well-being, but it has the same effect on us as well. Okay, and we call that the helper's high. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. If you haven't, the helper's high is the uplifting feeling that people experience after doing a good deed or an act of kindness. Okay, so you might have given somebody a compliment or give them a gift, or perhaps just even told them that they're really good at something or congratulated them on a great piece of work they've done. And that's probably made you feel really good after for doing that for that person. That is the helper's high. Okay, so being kind is huge for our own well-being, and it also makes other people feel great too. And also being kind helps us to connect with one another, and it helps us to build those really positive and great relationships with one another as well, which all play a key role in our mental health and our mental well-being long term as well. So it's going to make us feel better for longer. Okay, and being kind costs nothing, does it? So just have a think about some of these prompts that I've wrote down here. So perhaps when was the last time that someone or something made your day better? When was the last time that you made someone else's day brighter? How often do you show kindness to the people in your class? And could you show a little kindness to someone who may be struggling? Okay, so again, just something to take away with you and just think about that, because I think too often than not we can forget to be kind to one another. Thanks, Bronwyn. And the final B, the fourth and final B, is be mindful. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about mindfulness briefly, but mindfulness, the term mindfulness, if you're not familiar with it, it comes from Eastern spiritual and religious traditions. It's a key part of Buddhism, and it also appears in old Hindu writings as well. So being mindful is the process of training your mind to focus, be present in the moment, and redirect your thoughts in order to be in a state of relaxation. Okay, so our minds can be very busy places, you know, getting pulled into thinking hundreds and thousands of different thoughts each day. And with all of those thoughts as well does come worrying as well. Okay, a lot of us do worry either about the past or the future, or just you know, day-to-day worries that we all have. So being mindful is really powerful because it helps us focus on what's happening right now in the present, rather than letting our minds wander and go into that worrying state. Okay, so and being in the present moment, thinking about that, is really great for our well-being. Okay, so you might have practiced mindfulness before, either at school or at home, but there are lots of different ways that we can be mindful and check in with our mental health as well, to bring that thinking back to the present moment. And by doing that, it slows down any worries or any anxieties or any anxious feelings that we might have as well. So it's great for our mental health, being mindful. Okay, grab the next slide, Bronwyn, please. Okay, so I've just put some ideas up here for you. If you've never practiced mindfulness or you've never been mindful, this is some of the really simple ways that you can do that every day at school or at home. Okay, so practicing mindfulness is the first one. So that you might have heard of meditating before, or there's something called guided meditating. So that is where you listen to a voice or on a recording or on a video, and someone will it incorporates breathing practices, so slow breathing in, slow breathing out, and it really helps to suppress, especially if you're a person that worries quite a lot or might be feeling anxious. That's really great for bringing your mind back to the present moment and calming the mind as well. Yoga as well is also a form of practicing mindfulness. And just the top one up there, journaling. So journaling your thoughts or journaling your feelings. So writing things down. Writing things down often gets the thoughts out of your brain and onto paper. So especially if you have a lot of worrying or circling thoughts, writing them down can really help to sort of empty your mind and put things into perspective a little bit more. Or even drawing or getting creative, letting your mind wander by being creative is really helpful, or even setting yourself timers, you know, for 10 to 15 minutes, and perhaps even setting yourself on your own challenge to draw something that you can physically see can help to bring your attention back to something more positive when your mind is wandering. And then the last one, just checking in with yourself. So how am I feeling today? So I do this quite often. So perhaps even in the morning or in the evening, or even, you know, if you notice that your day isn't going so great or you're not feeling your best, just try and mentally rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, and just really ask yourself, how am I feeling? Okay, 0 being not so great and 10 being great, you know, the best I could feel. And wherever you've rated yourself on that scale, so say it might be, for example, a 4 or a 5, then just sit and ask yourself, okay, so what do I need to do today to get myself to a 10? Okay, what could I do? Or even just to reach higher up the scale. Even if you feel like you can't necessarily get to a 10 today, that's okay. But where can I do to make this number a bit higher? What could I do? What could I do that's good? I know is good for my well-being. Do I need to be mindful? Do I need to take some time alone? Do I need to, you know, connect with others, be kind? Whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you, just try and use that rating scale to help you to reach a more positive mindset. And then just lastly, to summarise, some self-care top tips. I mean, I have give you some there in the 4 Bs. I think they're all tips in themselves, but really just to summarise in us investing in our well-being, investing in ourselves, just to ensure that we're the best version of ourselves that we can really be. And just know that you can lean into any of those things. So practicing gratitude, you all know what that is now. Investing in your own health, so thinking back to all of those ways to well-being. So if it's your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual, anything, or your environmental, anything like that, think about those. Being kind to ourselves as well as being kind to others. Embracing learning, so keep learning, keep, you know, not staying stuck and staying still. Giving back to others, and also staying connected, so talking to friends and to family and to people at school and to things like that, and building those positive relationships that are all going to help you to invest in your well-being and feel your best self. Okay, and then just lastly, just something that I wanted to leave you with this morning. So now this morning you've all taken time to identify your own character strengths. You've took the time to recognise those positive features within yourself. So I'd like you to use those strengths to complete a sentence for each of these shapes, okay? And that will really help us to think positively and boost our own well-being. So they are I am, I have, and I can. Okay, so I just want you to complete a sentence for each of those this morning, and I'd just like you to take them away and to even share those sentences with your class, your school friends, or even at home by reading them out loud to one another. Okay, to really invest in ourselves this morning. Okay, thank you very much, and I'd like to take you over for any questions if anybody has any. No? Okay, perfect. Thank you all this morning for joining us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Felicity, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning as well. Apologies for a couple of minutes of technical difficulties at the start and that we've run over by a couple of minutes too, but that was such a great session. So thank you so much. We will be putting the session up on YouTube and GMAX too, so you can access that there. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, thank you.